let's look at some code that we've written using arrays. So at first, we've defined an array named myArray. It is of integer type. Now, you might be a bit confused looking at the square brackets here instead of here, but they would both work. If you put the square brackets right after int, it would work. And if you read it this way, this would work as well. So we define our array as myArray, and this would be able to store integers. We say equals new int, and then right there we want to specify which elements we want this array to store. So we store 1, 4, 6, 7, and so on. And let's see how many elements we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 different elements. Now, you must remember that the index starts from 0. So the index of this location is 0. This location is 1. This location is 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And the last location, since we have 13 elements, the index of the last location would be 12. So let's say we want to access 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to access this 4. How would we do that? We would do system.out.println, and we would just say myArray 5, the 5th index. The 5th index would give us the 6th element, and this is the 6th element. And so let's see if we print this, actually if we run the program, whether or not the result is how we expect it to be. So you see it has printed 4, which is the 6th element of this array. Now, there are many different functions or commands that you can run on this array. One of the commands is finding out the length of the array, and that command is dot length. So at first you write down the name of your array, and if you say after the name of the array, if you type dot length, that would give you the length of the array. So let's see how that plays out. It should give us 13 because we have 13 elements, and it gave us 13. So the length of the array is 13, and that's how you can know what the length of your array is. So now let's say we want to print out all the different elements that are there in our array. How would we do that? We can keep on printing this way, saying myArray 0, and then say again, do the same thing again and say myArray 1, and so on and so forth. But this is a lot of code and a lot of repetition. How can we do this with very small amount of code, very little code? We can use a for loop. So here, the for loop would start with the first value of the iterator would be 0. We are defining a variable I, which is of integer data type, and its initial value is 0. Now we want to run this loop as long as the array is there. So we want to run the loop throughout the length of this array. How many different elements do we have? We have 13 different elements. So we can say that keep on running until I is greater than 13. So as long as I is less than 13, keep on running. But if I becomes greater than 13 or even equal to 13, then stop. And we can then say how I would increase on every iteration. And in there, we'll just print out the value of my array for every index. So this would actually allow us to print all the different values here one by one. What is happening? At first, the program comes here. It sees that there is an integer I, which has a value 0. And then it goes here it prints out my array 0 because the value of I is 0 at this point. So it prints out 1. After that, it goes here and increases the value of I to 1. Now the value of I is 1. This condition is still true. 1 is less than 13. So it comes back here and then prints my array 1. My array index 1 is basically 4. And so it'll print out 4 because my array index 1, the value stored in this location is 4. And so it'll print out 4. And in this way, it'll keep on going until I becomes 12. When I becomes 12, it prints out my array 12. And my array 12 is basically 9, right? So it prints out 9. Then it goes here, I becomes 13. And then this condition is not true because 13 is not less than 13. 13 is actually equal to 13. So this is false. And so the loop ends. Let's see whether or not this actually runs. So you see, this has printed out everything that is in the array. So at first it printed out this. This is 4. Then it printed out the length, which is 13. And then it printed out everything that's in the array. So it printed out 1 first, and then 4, and then 6, 7, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 2, 0, 9. So that's how we can print all the values that are in the array. But this can be changed to my array dot length as well, because we want to run this loop until the whole thing is traversed. So the whole array is traversed, and in order to traverse or go through the whole array, we want to go through the length of the array, and the length of the array is 13 to begin with. So we can put this here. The value of my array dot length is 13. So every time I is compared to this, it is actually compared to the value 13, and this would also give us the same result. So you see the same results have been printed, and this is how you can access the different values of the array. Now let's say we want to do something with the values of the array. Let's say we want to multiply two different numbers in the array. So let's say we want to multiply 7 with 9. Now 7 is at index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. And 9 is at index 12, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what we'll do is we'll at first find 7, which is at index 3, and then we'll find 9, which is at index 12. And this should give us 63. So you see, it does print 63. So that is how you can use the different elements of the array to do whatever you want to do with the values that are stored there.